Well, hey there, YouTube. Are you ready for the best taco seasoning recipe? This is Petey's Taco Magic. We made a bulk recipe. I'm going to give you the recipe that serves for 1 pound of ground beef, and then we're going to talk about some substitutions and pro tips. But we also have the bulk recipe that's going to make about 17 taco nights. 17 pounds of ground beef. So we have 1 tablespoon of onion flake. Now, I realize not everyone has onion flakes in their spice cupboard, so you can substitute that for 3/4 teaspoon or 1 teaspoon, if you love that oniony goodness, of onion powder. So again, the first ingredient being 1 tablespoon onion flake or 3/4 teaspoon onion powder. 1 teaspoon of flour, white flour. If your flour is green, run. 1 teaspoon of beef bouillon granules, or you could just as soon use 1 beef bouillon cube. But you're going to need to convert that to a powder. 1 teaspoon garlic salt, 3/4 teaspoons cumin, 1.5 teaspoons or 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon paprika, 1/4 teaspoon cayenne pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon sugar. Now you could just as soon go 1/2 teaspoon cayenne pepper if you like it hot. You could just as soon go 2 tablespoons of chili powder, and you could just as soon go 1 teaspoon of chili powder. And same thing with the cumin. I thought that the cumin was a bit much. We reduced it down from 1 teaspoon to 3/4. Now, this taco seasoning was so good. We both went gaga for it, and the leftovers were fantastic. See, we're empty nesters. There's just 2 of us here, so if my wife prepares 1 pound of ground beef, there's quite a bit of ground beef left over. I'm not a fan of that. You can put water in the pan, you can salt it. No matter how you slice it, it tastes like leftovers. It's not very good. The next day, we warmed up a little bit of meat in the microwave, and this taco, I kept raving about it because of the seasoning mix. So I'm going to twist your arm to make the bulk recipe. The one thing was it was really kind of strong. So we reduced the overall amount, which gives us more servings. So that's all up to you. You know, a tablespoon measurement of this powder here, it weighs out to about 15 grams. I believe the recommended serving size is 26 grams, and that's way too much seasoning, in my opinion. So you can go with a tablespoon, you can go with a heaping tablespoon, which is closer to like 23 grams. And I don't think you can fit 26 grams of this powder on a tablespoon measurement, but maybe you could if you played Jenga with this powder. So are you guys ready for the bulk recipe? This makes 17 servings. That's what we have here. This is a 1 pound or 454 gram seasoned salt container that we repurposed. There it is, Petey's Taco Magic. So this is it will serve 40 to 60 people, or 17 pounds of ground beef, 17 taco nights. How does that sound? You'll just use your 1 tablespoon measurement and add that to your pound of ground beef, and Bob's your uncle. 1.5 cups plus 2 additional tablespoons of onion flake. 3 tablespoons plus 1 additional teaspoon of flour. 3 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon beef bouillon granules. 3 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon garlic salt. 2 tablespoons, 1.5 teaspoons cumin. 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon chili powder. 3 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon paprika. And it's 2.5 teaspoons cayenne pepper, 2.5 teaspoons sugar. Now, getting back to the onion, we split it down the middle. We used 4 teaspoon onion powder, and a 1/4 cup onion flake. So half and half. You could just as soon use 8 teaspoons onion powder and forget the onion flakes altogether. If you don't have the powdered beef bouillon, well, 10 beef bouillon cubes will work just fine. Also, if you like your tacos more hot, you go with up to 5 teaspoons of cayenne pepper. And again, with the cumin, the chili powder, that's really where the real action is here. And I think the sweet spot in this recipe is right where we had it, having about 3/4 cumin to 1.5 chili powder. I think that's where the magic happens. So as far as the beef bouillon, if you have the cubes, you can put them in a, I should say it depends. If your beef bouillon cubes were purchased back before the band Nirvana hit the charts, they're going to be hard, and you're going to have to chop them up with a razor blade or grind them with a spoon in circular motion, or both techniques. Remember the 80s? Some people say you can put them in a microwave. I tried that. I had 5 bouillon cubes on a little plate for 60 seconds and it burst into flames. It smells like somebody lit a cow on fire in my kitchen. My wife had to boil some water and lemon juice in the microwave and spray red cider vinegar in there, and we still have red eyes. So if you're going to try microwaving those bouillon cubes, get them soft and break them into a powder. Make sure you know the wattage of your microwave, because the instructions say if it's a 600 watt microwave, it's 30 to 40 seconds per cube. And that's not exponential. Like I said, I had 5 cubes at 60 seconds and they burst into flames. So you're going to want to try to get the powdered bouillon. Again, we tried throwing...
Is that hard? Good till 2023. That's...
No, I can feel it giving a little bit when I squeeze it. So that was just a joke. It wasn't a stab at you.
Okay.
Our bouillon cubes smell like strawberry fields forever. That's let it be. Okay. So, however you slice it, you're going to have to convert this bouillon into a powder. And we tried putting. We only had 9. After the snap, crackle, pop burst into flames, little surprise experiment in the microwave. We had 9 beef bouillon cubes left, and I put them in our little, it's like a plastic bowl with a blade that spins around. I guess it's a food processor. We paid $2.99 for it at Goodwill, and I love that thing. We actually ran our ground beef in it after we had ground and drained it. I put it in there, and it converted the meat from bigger chunks to real fine, like Taco Bell size meat particles. And then once we had broken the meat down, we put the powder on top of that and pulsed it a few more times to get the seasoning mixed in there really nicely. And it worked great. But the beef bouillon cubes made kind of a racket in there. It was loud. And I could smell that it was the motor wasn't really a fan of having to do that job. Now, I did run that powder as fine as I could get it, and then strained it through a screen strainer, and there was still about a half teaspoon of chunks left over that I had to manually disperse with the like a serving spoon. Put my thumb in circular motion on that powder on some like thick laminated cardboard, like a cereal box type cardboard. We had this white cardboard thing. And the point is, if you can get that powdered or beef bouillon granules, it's going to make your life a lot easier when you make this recipe. But it's not that big of a deal. Considering what you get, now we're going to have 17 delicious taco nights out of this. So I did have all of the ingredients written out on the description for my first video, which was yesterday. Peteys Taco Magic, Peteys Taco Tips. So you can head over to that video and click on the More button, which is, it's just in the description. You just click on More, and that'll give you the list of the full ingredients if you're curious to write them down. If I went too quickly for you here. But this is a wonderful recipe. People are going to freak out. They're going to go, whoa, what tacos are these? Where'd you get this recipe? It's that good. This is something spectacularly great. I normally don't do food and recipes on this channel at all, really much. I do some snack time where I'll have a little treat, unusual snack, and an unusual drink, and I'll talk about that and consume it on camera. But I don't really do recipes here. It was just that this was so spectacularly good, I had to share it with you guys. As I like to say, hey, if you like music and guitar stuff, why not subscribe? That's what we do here. We love to make music for fun. We're not pros, we're not techs, we're not experts. But we do make a lot of our own gear, and we do make a lot of music. So we'd love to have you, especially if you're going to actually follow through and make a bulk recipe of Peteys Taco Magic. I want to hear a comment from you. If you're one of those people that's going to go to the nth degree and actually make this, especially if you repurpose it into a seasoning salt vessel, I want to be friends with you. Like I always say, try to stay warm, or hey, if it's hot where you live, try to stay cool. Hug your pets, that's the most important one, and peace.